Hello and welcome to CRISIL TV. Mutual funds have increasingly become an avenue of great interest to retail investors. And this time in CRISIL TV, we'll actually be speaking about the scheme recategorization norms that have been introduced by SEBI. We'll be covering what does that really mean and how does it impact retail investors. SEBI's guidelines on scheme recategorization really focus on one or two core objectives. Most important of them being really to bring about uniformity and standardization in terms of the way mutual funds categorize their schemes. Under the revised norms, SEBI has introduced 5 different categories of funds: equities, hybrids, debt, solution-oriented funds, and others. So others really include funds such as index, ETFs, and so on. Further, with the objective of standardization, SEBI has also mandated fund houses to only have one scheme in a category. So what that means is for funds or fund houses, where there have been multiple schemes which have followed a similar objective, we will see a lot of mergers, consolidation happening within schemes. With the intent of ensuring that funds are really true to label, the regulator has also defined bands in terms of portfolios. In case of equity, for instance, capitalization norms. In case of fixed income, bands of duration, and likewise in case of the hybrid funds, bands in terms of the asset allocation between fixed income and equity. This will mean that funds will mandatorily have to plot within these approved bands that have been laid down by the regulator, and therefore you wouldn't really see too much of a difference per se between capitalization levels, or for that matter duration or asset allocation levels between funds who fall under a particular category. So what does this really mean for investors? For investors, one of the biggest benefits is really the standardization that comes in. So it becomes easier for investors to really understand the risks, the potential returns that can be made by investing in a particular category of fund. For a long time, we have had funds in the country which have run mandates which were inconsistent with the sort of nomenclature that was being used for branding these products. 2, it also means that investors can now compare funds better. So if for instance someone who wants to look at investing into a large cap fund, he can very easily compare performance between large cap funds and identify the fund which best aligns with his stated risk return profile. In the short term, however, investors should understand that there could be mergers, there could be consolidation, there may be some schemes which may cease to exist, given the fact that the regulator has also mandated fund houses to have only one particular fund in a category. And this is something that investors need to be cognizant of. In the medium to long term, however, as we mentioned earlier, the fact that everything is now going to be really a comparison between apples to apples and oranges to oranges, investors can really understand risk return profiles better and also decide which fund best suits their profile, their willingness to take risk. So clearly, scheme recategorization works out as a win-win from the investor's perspective. In the next episode, we will be covering another important guideline that has come out from the regulator recently, which is the usage of total return indices for performance benchmarking and performance comparison. We look forward to having you for the next episode of CRISIL TV. Thank you.